We took a multi-axle sleeper bus from Mumbai to Hospete to go to Hampi. Sleeper buses are amazing, especially the multi-axle sleeper bus. It's like checking into a hotel at night, and in the morning, the hotel has moved to a totally different location. And for couples, it's the closest they can get to public sex. We were supposed to reach by 9 am at Hospete, but when we reached, it was 12 pm. And the rickshawalas there were also not so enthusiastic in approaching us. There were 3 rickshawalas standing at the bus stop where all the private buses for Hospete stop, and from the faces it seemed that they had given up hopes of any more buses to arrive. But when our bus arrived, their faces sort of lit up, only to be lit down when they saw that there were just the 3 of us. A big, multi-axle, fully air-conditioned sleeper bus, and only 3 people gets down. Okay, not 3, there were a few others, but they had their people and vehicles to take care, so yeah, they don't count. After the ceremony of bargaining, we left for a hotel. Now, Hospete to Hampi is some 12 kilometers. All the trains and buses stop here for Hampi, and you have to take a rickshaw or a government bus to Hampi. We visited in the month of December, which is also the peakest month of Hampi, and that too on a weekend just before the New Year's Eve. I'll definitely not recommend this time to visit Hampi, as almost all the hotels are full, and so are the sightseeing locations. Also, the stay becomes very costly, and that's why we chose the Mayura Bhuvaneshwari Hotel in Kamalapura, which is 2 kilometers away from Hampi and well located for sightseeing. So they have dorm rooms here which costs just 200 rupees for a bed. By the way, it's also the cost of a beer in the restaurant, and there are 10 beds in a room. Sounds cheap, right? The only catch is that you can't book a single bed, but only the whole room. So even if it's one person or 10, you have to pay 2000 rupees, which is still cheaper than other hotels during this time. And this hotel is run by the State Tourism Department and is good. It was almost 1 pm when we reached our hotel and settled down. After freshening up, we headed straight towards the restaurant. It's a nice half-open restaurant with some breeze, and it also serves beer, but no hard liquor. Gulping down a glass of beer, which I already did with a plate of gyros chicken, in a hot atmosphere, that too after long travel, is like putting a hot tawa under a tap of running water. Shh! The sound it makes is so soothing. By the way, it's also the sound of some elite people farting. So as I said, we ordered gyros chicken, which is a specialty of Karnataka, specifically Mangalore, and butter chicken, rather South Indian butter chicken with some rotis. The food was good and filling. By the way, just to let you know, good is the enemy of great. Just saying. On the food table itself, we revised our plans as we had already lost half the day, and our new plan for the day was... Wait, let me just change the scene first, or else I'll see something similar to the gravy on the plate in my commode tomorrow. So after having some rest, we started out to explore Hampi. It was a weekend trip, hence we hardly had 2 days. To be precise, 1.5 days, out of which half day had already gone. So we had a little over 24 hours with us now. And 24 hours in Hampi is like a 30 ml of Old Monk in a half-liter bottle of Thumbs Up. You won't even feel it. I would say Hampi is a place where you have to spend at least a week. Visit places at your own pace, revel in the history, explore stories, watch sunsets, have laid-back lunches with beer or lassi, whichever you prefer. In fact, I think we need to spend a week in any place that we plan to visit instead of the weekend trips we make or the 3-4 day trip. I would say better spend a month. Learn little of the local language, observe the people, roam around locally in public transport, wear sunglasses and check out local beauties, have a hotel room with a balcony at a marketplace, and watch the people pass by as you enjoy 60 ml of Old Monk in a glass with 2 ice cubes and 100 ml of Thumbs Up, maybe with a packet of Balaji chips or Haldiram ka salted chingdana. Anyways, coming back to a plan which we had made very meticulously. First, we were to visit the Virupaksha temple, then take a ferry and cross the Tungabhadra river to Hippie Island, and then take a rig to Anjaneya Hill, do a hike to reach the temple at the top, after which we planned to go to Sanapur Lake and enjoy the Coracle boat ride, and finally jump in the lake from the rocks at a height of maybe 10-15 meters before taking a ferry back to Hampi. All this in about 2 hours, as the return ferry from the Hippie Island stops after 5:30 pm. But nothing went according to the plan. That's our first stop, the Virupaksha temple. The structure you see is not the temple but is a gopuram, which means gateway. The temple is inside. This is the Manmada Pushkarni, a sacred tank attached to the Virupaksha temple. Usually, in most of the large temples, you will see such sacred tanks or reservoirs. And this is the way to the jetty from where we get the boat to cross the Tungabhadra river. When we reached the river, we saw that the water was not that high and people were crossing it on foot. So we thought of saving 50 rupees and walking on water. Now only do this if you value 50 rupees more than a wet shoe and a wet pant. While crossing the river on foot, follow the line in which people are walking. It may seem that they are taking a longer route, but trust me, they know exactly where the water is low and will take you safely only with a wet pant. But if you venture on the shorter route, in comparison, you'll surely end up with a wet underwear and then you'll feel the garmi mein bhi sardi ka ehsaas. Also, at the start, it seems pretty adventurous to cross a river on foot, but when you're at it, you'll realize that you can't see half your body and hence can't see if a snake is near your leg or are you going to step on a slippery stone. Best part, the river has a flow and sometimes a clothing material or a plastic bag or anything can graze your leg and leave you shit scared. As I was about to reach the bank of the river, I felt someone catch hold of me and put my head in water. I struggled but couldn't withstand the force, said my GoPro. After the baptism of my GoPro, we continued to Hippie Island. Now, Hippie Island is not a real island but a village called Veerapapur. It's called Hippie Island due to some obvious reasons, which you can see once you're here. It's called as Hampi Island and is literally a stone's throw away from Hampi. It's famous for its restaurants, guest houses, and souvenir shops. You have to at least stay a night over here as the atmosphere here is completely chilled. It's very slow actually. You can see a lot of foreigners here. In fact, Taj Mahal and Hippie Island are the only places that made me doubt whether I was really in India. From here, we planned to take a rickshaw to Anjaneya Hill and from there to Sanapur Lake and back, but the rickshawala quoted a price as if we had asked to buy the rickshaw. So we opted for cycles, which was some 100 rupees per cycle. From the rickshaw stand, Anjaneya Hill is some 3 kilometers and Sanapur Lake is around 4, but both are in two different directions. Due to the time crunch and the half an hour climb, we skipped Anjaneya Hill and headed towards Sanapur Lake. We hardly cycled some 500 meters and something else happened. So we saw a couple doing a coracle ride in a water body right adjacent to the road, just before the highway to Sanapur, and we thought of doing it as well. So we parked the cycles. We just dropped the cycles on the ground and asked the man sitting nearby about the coracle ride. He was heavily drunk but knew his role in the business and quoted 100 rupees per person for half an hour of the coracle ride. Now that's exactly how much it is to cross over to Hippie Island from Hampi in a coracle, and that ride just takes 5 minutes. Even in Sanapur, it's 500 rupees per boat for 15 minutes. Drunkards are very generous, by the way. We headed to a boat, and as we were getting in, we came to know that the guy who was going to ride the boat was also super drunk. So he was telling us about how when he was small, his father had left him here in Hampi and he had to go through a lot of struggles. And he was literally crying and mopping his tears with a towel around his neck. I wondered if that was the reason he was having a towel around his neck. See, it's a sad story, but not something you want to hear when you are on a holiday and enjoying a boat ride. Coracle is a round boat and looks like a giant cane basket with some cow dung on it. So far, I've only seen it in Hampi, and it's one of the must-do things if you're not afraid of water. The highlight of the Coracle ride is that you will be literally taken for a spin. The speed here is a little faster than the actual speed, but you'll really enjoy it, especially if you have vertigo. After our bittersweet experience in the Coracle, we cycled our way to Sanapur Lake. Beautiful place. This lake is famous for the Coracle ride, and here you can also jump into the water from the rocks. Actually, there's a specific place to do it and I'm walking towards it. Don't worry, it's very obvious to find as you can see people jumping from a distance. So I had planned to jump, but I was nearing the spot. Fear was slowly setting in and it peaked when I reached the spot. When I reached the top, I saw that a girl with a life jacket on was trying to make the jump and 5-6 people were trying to motivate her to jump. I'm not joking. One girl from the group literally said, जिंदगी में और रखा ही क्या है, मार दे उड़ी. And I was like, are they motivating her to commit suicide? Will I be counted as a part of it and get arrested? Anyways, the girl with the life jacket on didn't take the jump even after 15-20 minutes of suicidal motivations. See, it actually takes a lot of guts to take the plunge. Even though there was a life jacket, a person below in the lake to help you if anything goes wrong, and a whole team to support you. The same goes with life. In order to just survive, we mostly avoid taking any plunges and be in the safe zone. But that's just surviving and not living. Sometimes I feel you need to take the plunge. Don't think, just jump. वैसे भी जिंदगी में और रखा ही क्या है. We came back to mainland Hampi and waited at the Mango Tree restaurant for a chance to get in and have dinner. It's one of the famous restaurants here. 3 shocking facts about this restaurant. 1, it looks like a bar. It really does. But they do not serve alcohol and the food here is purely veg. 2, they don't accept cards but only cash. Google Pay, Paytm is accepted, but best of luck with the mobile network there. 3, they are biased towards the foreign customers. Or maybe I felt so. By the way, this is Mushroom Sizzlers. Apart from that, it's a good place and the food is also good. Just be aware of the wait time during peak hours. And that's how our day 1 ended. The next day, we again gathered around our planning table and started making plans, as you can see. Just outside our hotel, a rickshawala offered to take us around Hampi for 800 rupees and we jumped in. Almost all the rickshawalas have this offer, but don't forget to bargain as usually such trip starts from 1000 rupees. So we are now heading to the Vithala temple, the prime attraction of Hampi. Rickshaws will drop you at the entry point and you have to walk more than a kilometer to reach the temple. If you don't want to walk, there is an option of traveling by a battery powered cart, obviously with a cost. Anyways, I've time-lapsed the entire walk and here it is. This is again not the temple but the Gopuram. Gopuram is a gateway to the temple complex and is a prominent feature of large South Indian temples. This is a famous stone chariot of Hampi and one of the icons of India. Even the government has promoted it by putting it on the new 50 rupee note. It is said to have had the statue of Garuda on top, the vehicle of Vishnu, but now it's no more there. The crowd inside the complex was so much that I felt that someone had given them the wrong address for the bus depot. The famed musical pillars of the Vithala temple. Tapping on the pillars create sounds corresponding to Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Dha Ni Sa. But it's been 2 years the entry is restricted as a lot of people didn't believe the guide and wanted to tap the pillars by themselves. Back in the day, Hampi was a world-renowned trade spot, and hence you can see a lot of international elements attributing the temple, like this Chinese roofs and Mongolian horses. This is the Kalyana Mandapa or marriage hall. So in large temples, apart from the Garbhagriha, that is where the shrine is kept, you have some other structures too surrounding it, like the Sabha Mandapa where people gather, Kalyana Mandapa where marriages happen, Ranga Mandapa, and I think there's also Bhojana Mandapa and other mandapas. This is a spot from where you could see the idol inside the stone chariot, but now there is nothing inside. And behind you can see the Gopuram. That was a time in the Vithala temple, and we walked back to a rickshaw. Visiting attractions at Hampi without a guide is like watching a beautiful Korean film without subtitles. It is beautiful, but you won't understand much of it. So I would urge that if you're visiting, get a local guide or read a lot about the places beforehand. From here, we'll be going to the royal enclosure and all attractions nearby. I'll just show all of that in a collage and save some time. But before that, let's have a Nimbu soda. By the way, you also get watermelon if you don't want Nimbu soda.
Stranded in the open, dried out tears of sorrow, lacking all emotion, staring down the barrel, waiting for the final gates to open to a new tomorrow, moving with the motion, following the light that sets me
That's the end of a Hampi trip, and we are heading back to Hospete to catch a bus to Mumbai. I didn't know what was more sad, the thought of leaving Hampi or the thought of getting back into a routine in Bombay. Anyways, there was a thing to cheer. We were going back in a multi-axle, fully air-conditioned sleeper bus.
बस बस वही
वही है और कुछ नहीं है।